Hello.
Hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia,
And Azalea. Hi.
and Marty, and we
Cleaning
are
the
Green
lenses
Girl
last
Studios, and this is the Great Bead Extravaganza on Sunday. So, welcome, friends. Welcome. We want to take a couple minutes to test our stream. If it sounds good and you can hear us and everything's great, give us a thumbs up so we know not to fiddle with the settings. So we have some fun things to do today. I see some friends already joining us. Hello, Diane. Hello, she says hello from St. Louis, Missouri. That's where my people are from, St. Louis. Hello, Katney. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Ame. Hello. Yes, thank you for joining us today. We have some fun things to show, and we loaded up our trunk show. So usually on our events, we do a live lot sale. Today we are doing one where it's all in the on our website. We have a trunk show page website.
There's a link to that now.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you. Sandra says, sounds and looks good on YouTube. Katney says, hear you well. Thanks. Yes. Oh, hello, Donna. Hello, my friends. Yes, so I'm glad. We switched over from StreamYard to Restream because we were getting, there was a bunch of glitching. We had a lot of glitching, so this is a nice change. Oh, I see more folks joining us. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Julie. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Lori. Yes, I see people from all over the place. The other day, we had someone from Bali on Friday night. Isn't that cool? I wonder how many people are from, how far away people are from. We're in Asheville. This is streaming live from Asheville, North Carolina. So, all right. So let's get in there and let's get started. We only have an hour. Oh, hello, Clem. Hello, my friend. Hello, Kimberly. Evelyn. Hello, Deborah. Cecilia. Hello, Tina. Tina. Oh, I see somewhere, I'm getting used to this new platform and I like it. Seems good. Hello, Brandy.
Marty's here.
Oh, yeah, Marty's here. He's earning his keep. He's keeping me busy. Oh, Maui.
Lucky.
Yeah, listen, Hawaii is one of my all-time favorite places that I've ever been. And I've been all over. Hello, Pat. Hello, Karen. Hello, my friends. Yes. Love seeing my friends. Northern California. That's cool. I love Northern California. It's one of my favorite places, too. Y'all are from my favorite places.
What are we doing today?
I'll tell you what we're doing. I'm glad you asked, Azalea. I'm so glad you asked. Isn't that cute? Just get little stars. It's so cute. I was like, how do you draw them on so perfectly every time?
It's a stamp.
It's a stamp. So Azalea and I made a new kit. We're going to show that. It's going to be our kits. We kind of go through them and we use them for about 2, sometimes 3 sessions. So, when you buy one, it's kind of like you can kind of use it because then we're like, let's make an earring, let's make a bracelet, let's make a few things. So it's kind of fun. We have some sterling that we worked all week. Azalea was down there pressing waxes. We got that going and cleaned them up and got them ready in time. We have the mold made for the new Asheville bear. I made this during Helene. Y'all remember Asheville getting trounced? Not just Asheville, but all like 200 miles around Asheville was crushed with a hurricane. And during that time when we were out of power and water and internet, we had a tent set up. We called it our party barn. It's just our show tent. We had it set up at our driveway and we were making food. Greg had the casting torch set up and we were heating water that way. And I'm like, thank goodness we have a big giant propane and oxygen tank so that we can sit here and we could cast because we had that stuff, but we couldn't finish, but we could cast and I could carve because I could get, I have an alcohol lamp. So it took me a while to finish this because it turns out a bear is hard to carve. You wouldn't think it with all of their kind of, they're kind of bulky and it's, you don't think it's gonna be hard. It was hard for me to carve this bear. And so I've recarved it several times. It's live right now on our website and it's ready to go. I only made 3 in silver because guess what? Silver has been pretty expensive lately. That's no surprise to anybody. I mean, look at the cost of gold. Remember when I was talking about casting gold? About, what was that? Summer Big Crafty. We finished the show and we were encouraged to buy gold so we could start making more fine jewelry, which is my dream, is to make gold earrings and necklaces. And we bought an ounce of gold, and now that gold has gone up like $500-$600, if not more. I think it's actually more. That's just ballpark. I don't know. This is just the silver piece, Marty. He's like, that's not food. He thinks it's food. Michelle, the bear is on the website. We have the molds made. We just need to spin it. So we've been getting all the masters ready. So it's kind of pre-order, but it's, the molds are done. It just needs to be made. So what we'll do is when we receive your order, you go on a list, right? And so just like anybody else, we go through and we count up how many, and then we make them and we work through the orders. So they are, at this moment, they're live on the site. So you can get this in pewter. Azalea, is the salamander in pewter?
It's in silver.
It's in silver right now, but the salamander that I'm talking about is this piece, and it has little feet. When you flip it, it's a button. I made this to go on my necklace, and I was going to show this today. That was one of the things. So I'm going to try and do multi-techniques in this segment. So I'm going to flip the camera around and get started. All right, I was talking and did not look at some of these comments that have come in. Let's see what we have going on. I will hope so many more people. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for joining us. We so appreciate it. Lisa says, Helene was horrendous for Western NC. Yes. And while it's getting back to normal, I mean, for some people, it'll never be normal because their houses, you could see on the French Broad River, there were actual houses. You could see them washing, just going down the river. It was unreal. It was the scariest thing I've ever lived through. Okay, so let's do this. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Kenny says, I just bought that bear. I would also like to say that there's a sale going on our website. It's 15% off your whole cart. So that's good. It's not just on pewter, because usually I don't do everything, but that's everything in the store right now. So, I've been sitting here looking, and I was looking at my cat. And Marty, I was just staring at you instead of doing what I was getting so distracted by his face. I forgot what I was doing. I was like just looking at him and being like, I wonder if I can zoom in on his face. All right, let me see here. Cindy says, hello, sweet Marty. Yes, he's Mama's little angel. All right, here's what I did. I'm going out of order. Let me just talk about one thing at a time. All right, so here's the salamander. There's a couple of them in sterling. If Azalea has a moment, she can load that up into pewter, because we will have this in pewter as well. And there's some other ones that are going to be. So there's also this. I'm going to show y'all what we have. This is in silver. I am dying to use this. So if you don't know, I'm a jewelry maker, painter, crafts person, and I do markets, art fairs, and what else do we do? Oh, trunk shows and retreats and things. So what I like to do is I bring finished jewelry with me. I bring it in my bag. I make it, like sometimes I'll have these necklaces preloaded and ready to string. So when I'm traveling, I can take these with me. But what I call these my treasure necklaces, because they're kind of like, there's just beads that I love. And this kind of started me selling kits as a way to move some of my extras, because a lot of times when I'm making jewelry, I will use maybe a quarter to a third of a strand, and then I'm sitting on little, this is probably how many strands that I just dump all the rest in a tin. And years and years I've been making these. And so we started selling and making designs. Like this one's already been used up. This one is the water lilies, and this one was from this necklace right here. So I pick and choose.
Does that look okay, or is it bad?
Oh, are you helping me?
I was trying to make it because it looked dark.
Oh, let me get some more light. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to hit that with a little bit more light. That's a little bit better. Whoop!
No!
I'm sorry. See my shirt covered in cat hair. So we make these kits. I use the beads and I put a lot of them. Anything I'm selling in these kits is stuff I'm going to use in my own jewelry. So for this necklace, we made this on Wednesday night and I finished stringing it. I want to put a clasp on it. So I wanted to show some of the ones that I have to choose from. This is the newest batch. So these are all online right now. This one, I know Kate particularly was enjoying this piece here. She wants one of these. I have to send her one or two or three. She might like it. That's silver. All right, what else do I have? What else was on the website, little daughter? Did you get this little firefly?
Yeah, everything in that container right there.
So this is this is more of a size that would be appropriate for my crochet thread necklaces. So that size, that's up there. I think there are 7. Is there 7 of those? Is 7 of each of those?
I think he told me 8 to 10 with a
8
bunch
to
of
10.
them.
Sorry.
But I mean, we have been. I did send out a newsletter last night, and we've been selling a bunch of these all day long. So I can't guarantee the quantities of any of the other ones. But you can. There's unlimited of the pewter that you can get. Just some of the silver might be gone already.
So this is one of the thread necklaces that I was just referring to, and it's a very dainty but sturdy because this is nylon. I've never actually had one break on me, which you can't say for, say, hemp or silk. I've had some silk break because it'll stretch. I really love it in silk, but it's a little fragile. And you know what? There's an ethereal sort of ephemeral quality to that. But with the nylon, you get nice, tight stitches, and it makes for a very good travel necklace. Like you could put a bunch of these in your bag, and that's not even.
We have a class for that.
Oh, so there's a workshop for this. If you're interested, it's also on sale right now. And it gives you full directions to make exactly this with all of my tips. And there's a guide on gemstones to use. It's very thorough.
All right, I just dropped a link in the comments. It'll take a second to see it, but that's for our new digital downloads tab on the website. Like the trunk show, it has everything that we have ever put up that is digital download. Paper doll prints that we're going to talk about later, plus the class workshop for these kinds of necklaces, the crochet necklace workshop.
Oh, wonderful. So you can see these are very finely, very small, thin, but strong because it's silver. They would be so perfect. You can kind of imagine it. So that is what we have going on for the thread necklace. So I made those. This one would work as well. It's a little bit heavier. So I made different sizes. Usually I have these little bitty, what you call it, stars, right? And maybe you can do me a solid, daughter, and close that window. You know what? I got a neighbor across the way that has one of those big jacked up trucks. And it gets on my nerves how he's always kind of like skewing I don't know what you call it, like really revving the engine. So anyway, sorry about that background noise of that revving. So these would be perfect for a thread crochet necklace. There's a few on the website right now, and as I just dropped the links. All right, we'll leave those there. Karen says, do you count the stitches between beads or is it random? Now listen, that is a good question because you can do either. Sometimes when I'm doing a passage like this, I kind of like these are little sapphires through here. Sometimes I like to put like 4 between so that it looks more, I guess the word is more uniform, but I don't keep that going through the whole way. You can see here's only 2 stitches, and it gives it a different look. You know, you get, if you put them right close together, let's see if there's another place. This is actually a friend of mine that wants me to make another one for her, and she wants a similar color palette, so I'm using this as a reference. So this is a sold one, and if you're wondering. But like with you can use larger beads, and it looks like you can do anywhere between. I mean, the farther they're spread out, I feel like you're showcasing the bead. Like I'll use, you can see here, this is a piece of Pre-Night, I believe. I think that's Pre-Night, or maybe not. What is that? What is the green? I can't remember. Praisiolite. I put more stitches between, and it kind of showcases. It gives a little space. So that's what you use for these guys. I made this business here to use as a charm to dangle this like that. So it can kind of, have a little bit of whimsy to it. And I like to make these necklaces where you can wear anywhere on your neck. So if you saw the one I was wearing just a few minutes ago, I like to rotate it anywhere. So what I do is balance it between the different stones so that one side, if you have it too heavy on one side, that part will always go to the front. So I make them where they're kind of equal weight all the way around. So I made some of these new clasps. This is another new one. Oh, the branch dangles. We'll make more. We'll make more. Yeah, I see Clem saying there, if you don't have experience, what you're really doing after you've made a couple, and this is true I will say this with my full chest and confidence, is that your hands have a memory. And if you do something like knotting, for example, here I'll show a little bit of that. I was going to finish this necklace today and show how to finish this up. I'm trying to count it and make sure I have plenty of time. So I started it so I can make this loop. But when you first do any of this, if you've never done any kind of crafting in your life, you may have a little bit more difficulty. I'll grab my glasses. Because your hands might not be used to it, but you might be like 100% awesome at giving a shot or typing. That for me, I don't have that muscle memory, so it's more difficult. So the more you do anything, the easier it's going to get because your hands remember it. In this case right here, I've made a mistake on this, and I did a bead that had wrapped before I pulled it completely down. So I'm trying to get the loop over this seed bead, and it just caught on it. So I was trying to show that. Yeah, there we go. So, it's easy to make. See, there's a little gap there, right there, and the thread went on this side of it. So what I did was I pulled it over, and now I can resume knotting. This is a 2-strand method, and what you do is you string everything first. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen where you glue the 2 strands together, and you can then use it as a needle. And I usually put 8 to 10 inches on the end of it. I finished this necklace, but then I wanted to add more beads, and you can do that if you make a long needle. So this is from Wednesday night. If you want to see the full of how we did this, watch Wednesday nights live, and you can see how that was. It's last week. And so what I've done here is with all that extra, see there's all this extra, and this is glued together. So now, if I wanted to, I can add more beads to it. If I didn't like the length, say it was too long or not long enough, I could go in and add a few more. Now you can't do that with other methods of knotting because you have to cut the string if you don't cut it long enough. And usually I never cut it long enough with the old way of using the knotting tool. It was never my friend. And I never liked to knot, but now I can't stop knotting. And the reason is you get a really beautiful fluid flow. Like, I don't know. It just feels better. And the other reason that people do this, the knotting, is that if you break your necklace, say it gets caught and the thread breaks or it gets cut, you only lose the knotted spot there because the rest of them are knotted, so you don't lose all your beads. That's particularly important if you have like Tahitian pearls or something. What I see here, I'm hosting a claim make along. Let's see, what's Michelle saying? Can you read this while I'm doing this? A comment. I can read it, but I was nodding this. So
hi, Cynthia. On the GreenGirlStudios gang Facebook page, I am hosting a creative make-along of the projects in your book. Just an opportunity to show what you have made in the past or make something new. Could you encourage people to participate? We're on the 2nd project, and this far nobody has shared a project.
Oh, well, maybe share it to the GreenGirlStudios gang.
That's who she's in.
Oh.
It says on the GreenGirlStudios gang Facebook page.
Oh, I haven't been on there in a minute just because I've been so busy prepping for this. So yes, do go to the gang and let's do that because that sounds fun. Some of those projects were made, let's see, everything is like azalea, before or after azaleas for azalea. Was it BA? So what I'm doing is making a loop. This is a loop for either, I think, the salamander. So what I did was I put these on after. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the time so I'm not running over this.
I'm watching it for you.
Thank you. Because I have a few tutorials to show and I want to have time for everything. This is only one. But I was really eager to show how good this is going to look. And I want to just finish this out. So you can see I'm stretching this out. The reason is because it gives it a smoother finish right in here. Right in there. You want it to be smooth. I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to be enough. All right. Nearly there. So when you're making the loop for a button, you want to have the width of the button fit through the loop. Otherwise, it's going to be too tight and it's not going to work. You don't want it too big either, because if it's too big, that thing will just, it's going to be, I don't know, it's just going to be, well, you know, if you have a too big of here, there's an example. So this, I was just playing around with this, but this loop is too big for this. I've designed this as a modular necklace, and this button could, in theory, work with this, but I didn't make it specifically for that. But here it is too large. So I was going to make this where you could, I mean, I guess it's fine. But, you know, that seems just like, I don't know. It's like a recipe for that to come apart. I don't like to make it too much of a gap. So let's see if this salamander fits. It does. So I've knotted in between. You don't have to knot in between. You can use different types of cord. This light's getting on my last nerve. It's like I have a work table and it has the metal bars. It doesn't want to hold any of the clamps. So I'm going to make a knot with this. Just a basic knot. And this way I can wiggle the knot. I don't want to make it too tight and then I can't move it and then there's a gap. You guys know I don't like that sort of gappy look. So I want it to be tight. See that? How that's tight? I'm going to check again so this thing fits. And it does. Yeah, get quiet doing this part of it. Now, if you make a knot that looks like somebody chewed on it, you can easily put a crimp cover on it. And those are, I have a little thing of them. So I'm going to use this thread burner. I got this from Kate. This is called the Bead Smith Thread Zapper 2. I love it. You know, for years, I used a lighter. And I cannot tell you how many necklaces I had to redo because I slipped ever so gently and then found that I burnt through the whole thing and then I had to, you know, the whole loop came off. That is no fun. So I'm making sure it's nice and tight. You can hit that with a little drop of glue if you want to make for extra security. But here's what you do. This is like a little tiny soldering iron. Get ready. You hold your thread. I'm trying to get tension here with my hand. I'm trying to see it. All right, so here you go. I'm getting it ready. I'm gonna hold it at the spot that I need it. I don't have it on my hand on the button yet. And then once I do, there it goes. That's it. Do this outside because you're melting it. And then you can go over top and melt that little thorn right off of there. Push down. See that? If you get these little hair things, you don't want those. So you want to go in and smooth them out. I don't like them anyway. Or you can just hit it with a thread or a crimp cover. There we go. Nice. I might cover that up because it's, you know, it's okay. And then you can do this. Smash it into place. And there you go. Looks good. All right, that side's done. Okay, for the salamander side, I might knot this. Let me see what the time looks like. I have a few minutes. I can do this. Now, I'm going to knot this for extra security. You don't have to do this. You could actually do macrame stitches, which I might do. Let me actually take that out. I might do that because it sounds more. We'll change it up just so we have something different happening. We'll move this over. All right, I'm going to split this. Easily done. And also got these from Kate, beadshop.com. She sent me a little thing. And what's good about this is you can then clip your necklace to the end of your work surface. This is a little pie tent or a pie plate. Got that at Sam's Club. That'll keep it from wiggling around, right? And so we're going to do a little macrame here. And this is easy. You all seen this. It's going to be hard to see with this beige on beige. But this is a super simple back and forth. There's so many stitches that you can do that for macrame, it's really easy. And you just go back under and over. And you can change the look at the end. But what you're trying to go get this little spiral happening, or you can get like a little flat look. But usually I have to refresh myself and look at a diagram. Let's see if it's happening. So if you go in the same direction, so what I'm doing, you're going to get a little bit of a spin. And I don't mind that. I'm trying to work with speed, so I'm not going over the time. I'm just switching back and forth. You see, it's like a knot and then another knot. And it's twisting a little bit. But what this is going to do is it's going to look a little bit more finished than, say, just going ahead and using it where you could just go where it's just these two strands and it's just the thread. But I don't know. I like it to look more tidy. And I think this looks more tidy. And you don't need much. So that looks like a little twisted rope. I think it looks pretty good. And it's not going to look as flat because I have two different weights of thread here. I have a thick and a thin. And I did that on purpose because I wanted the width of the total width to fit through the stones. So if I had two normal size or regular size C-lawn, the needle or thread width, this part here, would have been too thick to fit through some of the beads. So I opted for a little bit thinner diameter, and you can control that with the thickness of the threads you use. And it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, to have two. You can see it made kind of a little rope, and that's going to happen because these are two different thicknesses. It's okay, but it looks a little more finished than, say, just wrapping that in there. And this is much sturdier. All right, I'll put those two through. Oh, I only got one side. And we're going to wrap around his tail. The tail is the button shank. I thought that came out pretty cute. All right, here we go. So now that's what we have, and we're going to knot that, and that'll be it. And that's how you finish one of these guys. That's it. Very simple. The finishing is my least favorite part, so I make a pile of these necklaces. I probably have 15 of them sitting in the to finish area of my desk. It's getting a lot. All right. Adjusting it. I don't want it to have I don't like it when there's a gap, so I make sure it's nice and tight. And you can see how that looks a little bit tighter, I think, than just having the two loose strands. Like if this were going through there, I think it looks a little bit better. All right, let's get through there. Let's see what all is going to happen. I'm excited to wear this. I love a rainbow shift necklace, that's for sure. So tight. All right, let's burn that loop off. Perfect. I'm just going to lay this one down. It'll be a little easier instead of trying to get it close to the camera. I usually work it from about here, and then my face is right up against it. You can see
Ruth wants to know, what was the thinner thread that you used?
Also Ceylon, but just a thinner Ceylon.
Debbie says that salamander is seriously cute.
Thank you. I love it. And I wanted something. Y'all know that I could spend all my time staring into creek beds, but that's just to flatten it out.
Margaret said, the gemstones are so beautiful in this, Cynthia. I love your new buttons too. Perfect for this project and for bead crochet.
Thank you.
Janice asked, Cynthia, did you say that you start knotting in the middle?
In the middle? No, I didn't start in the middle. I started at the end. I string all my beads first. What do you think, y'all? So that's the new salamander button. Oh, hello, my friend Janice. Oh, I see Amber Dan.
Ann is here.
Man,
yeah.
I didn't see so many of my friends. Hello.
Oh, Rita says, sorry I got here late. Is there a bead mix that you were working on for sale? Yes.
I do have it. You know, now that I was showing the new salamander. That's coming soon. Azalea is going to put the...
Yeah, I'll put a link to our newest kit. Here you guys go.
And there's a sale happening. So, in this kit, let me move this stuff around.
There's no code required. It'll just go to your cart. It's a 15% off discount site-wide. So whatever you add to your cart, it'll take the whole total of your cart and take 15% off of it. There's a link for that kit that we just put out. This one is called Cotton Candy Skies.
All right, let's spread it out. So what's in this one is all of this. This is black obsidian. I have some of this. Look at all this cheddar.
This kit includes, and I put this in the description of the kit too, so you know exactly what you're getting, but I can say it again for everybody else who's watching. There is 8mm faceted crystal quartz. That's this.
Let me just show it closely.
There's obsidian hearts, rutilated strawberry quartz of 2 different sizes, mica rose quartz stars, cherry quartz, pink tourmaline, strawberry quartz squares, rhodonite stars, brass charlottes and brass cubes, obsidian coins, and then I love these. These are those brass but gold looking jump ring clasps. You should show how those open up.
Now.
Yeah, we got some black spinel, and then some pewter spacers and sterling silver earring wires. This kit has a lot of different stuff in it.
And especially if you consider that you can easily spend $78 on a single strand of beads. You can make several projects with this kit. Crochet kit, easy. All right, so this is the that little clasp thing that Azalea was just talking about. So what fun is this? I'll show you. All right, so I cut this necklace up. I know I was like I finished it, then I decided I didn't like this thing, so I cut it off, right? This necklace. So here's what is good about it, this clasp anyway, is that if you have 2 loops, I'm just gonna cut this completely off and redo it, because you know it had this big crystal and I didn't have anything else on it that had that big crystal. It just didn't seem like it was working for me. And I know you're not supposed to go back, but that's just not my way. If it bugs me, it's going to get cut. A lot of things get cut. So what's fun about this, I bought these with the intent on using it with my pendants, because I thought, hey, you know what would be nice is being able to add, let me see, what do I have over here that has a big hole? Sometimes I like to change up my pendants. I know other people do too. And this is a pretty secure way of adding a charm. To put one on there. I think that has a big enough hole. I wonder if it does. Let's see. You might have to put another type of jump ring. But you know, I used to do this in the 90s with lobster claws. Let's see if that fits. This one does not fit. It doesn't open up enough. But Let's see, there's another one. What I usually do is make dangles, like charm dangles. You know, I like to make a tassel. Oh, I have one on the floor here as it goes. Let's see, it fell down earlier. So I made this for, I think this was for a Beads of Courage thing. All right, so I like to do these charm dangles and see how I do this. These are not removable, but if you say you put a charm dangle, you put all of your charm dangles on this, you could clip this to another piece, say like, pretend like this was clipped on here. You could take those off, put it on something else, on another necklace or chain or ribbon or whatever, and you can convert it.
Modular.
It's, you know, in that modular thing, y'all have been hearing me say.
I thought of it when we saw him. I was like,
that's so perfect.
Show what you were making. What were you making that was the modular? You had something that I saw that was, with all them loops and stuff.
So this was the necklace I was talking about. I had sections so that if you
imagine
take one
you had
off,
the loops, the rings here.
That's like bracelet.
Move them around,
right? So if you had that right here and here, you could loop those together.
And that's this kit right here.
So there's 2 of these in this kit. So this is a great deal. I mean, I've spent more on one strand than this kit, that's for sure. I mean, who hasn't? Am I right? So anyway, this kit is because I loved these. They're so precious. They're little obsidian faceted hearts. And I hadn't seen them before. I'd seen them in like a bigger size, but less beautifully drilled. You know, I'm a stickler for that drilling. And
Wendy,
you're there.
Cindy says, the 90s. Kimberly drops a link to beadshop.com for some Ceylon.
Yes, I get a lot of my Ceylon.
Debbie says, I love the dangles. Mary says, I love this mix. Debbie says, I love those clasps. Beautiful color mix. So pretty. Looks fabulous. Loves those clasps. I think everybody's a big fan of those rings.
I love it. I love it when I do something.
Beautiful kit. Cindy says, the pewter pieces you design have made my creation so special. So grateful you have shared your talent with us these many years.
Thank you. That makes me feel nice.
That makes me feel nice.
That makes me feel so nice. Thank you.
Nice. I tried to do the QR code for this kit instead of just dropping a link over and over again, but it didn't work. So we'll just have to go old school with the link dropping.
All right. So that is some of the other things that we did. So we have that. That's coming soon in pewter, maybe by the end of this thing, if you could load that up.
Which one?
The salamander.
I already did that.
Oh, you loaded the computer?
I did that a while ago.
Oh, duh. All right, so listen,
when you first asked me.
You know, I didn't realize that Azalea has these in pewter on the site right now. So if you're interested in, it works in both. This is sterling, and the pewter is a little bit a more of an affordable option. But the silver, you know, if you're making something that's more heirloom, you know, that's a good option. But look how good it looks on my necklace and how easy it is. So
there's a link to the trunk show page. That is where you'll find everything that you see here. Everything that we have on the store is going to be on that page, or everything that we're showing today. Is anything silver, any of the new pewter, and this kit are all there.
What other reason I like it is when, you know how your buttons will flip? So when it flips over, you see his little underbelly and little feet. So that's what's good about that. We also have, did this Sphinx get on there too?
Yes, in silver, but not in pewter yet.
So this one's not in pewter yet, but it's coming soon.
Or I might have that the other way around. Let me double check that real quick, because I remember he told me something. Dad. Because he's making all the stuff. Okay, so no, we have that in pewter, but not silver. That's right. He didn't make any in silver.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. I so appreciate you. Margaret says,
please don't forget to give us a thumbs up for... Oh, yeah, she's showing it. Why is it blue? Our brand color is supposed to be green.
It's okay.
It's not. There we go.
Oh,
that's supposed to be correct.
Good job. All right, so this is one that I am going to put on. You know, I was talking about doing markets. This is going to be the new clasp that I'm going to use on my new necklace series that I'm working on for markets. So if you are a local, get ready to see this on all the pewter necklaces, because I make cord necklaces in a kind of an affordable range. I have 2 different ranges, actually 3 price points on my table. And I'll make, if this is pewter, then I'd put this with it, and maybe one pewter bead or a stone here, and that would be like, like maybe in the $20 range, and I have it on a nice card. So that is that side, that level. And then I make necklaces in the 120 range. This is a lot of stones. It's a lot of work. Some of these are more expensive depending on what the stone is. So that's what that's for. So that's why I have a couple different levels of, like some things are more, some people like to wear silver. Some people like to wear gold. You know why I made this guy? Because I want to cast it in gold. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to use some of that gold I bought to make myself a tiny little gator. It's my inner Floridians coming out.
Emily wants to know, do you still make the pewter bean face bead? It was a profile kind of like a moon.
I was just wearing that, Emily. I was just wearing it 3 or 4 days ago. I like that one because it kind of reminds me of that other bean that is very famous and very extremely expensive. It's not exactly like it, even a little bit, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see what the time check. Oh, I've got a few minutes here. What else was I going to show? So I went over that kit.
Paper dolls.
Oh, all right. So let me clear some space.
All right, you guys, I'm going to drop the link to our trunk show page and our digital downloads page one last time. Or probably I'll show again with the digital downloads, but this is the last one for the trunk show page. This has all of the new silver, all the new pewter, and our new kits. That everything is being discounted today, 15% off, and it's actually going to be going for the next probably few days. I can't remember when I set the deadline for that, but I gave a good chunk of time for everybody to shop. So there's that link to that trunk show page. You'll get 15% off of your cart when you go to checkout. So there's no code to remember.
All right. So I have been making these paper dolls for probably 16, 17 years now. And this all came about when I was a kid in the 80s, and I'd go to visit my grandma, and my grandma did not have MTV. Listen, that's not a surprise or a shocker to anybody. And if y'all remember, if you didn't have anything going on, you didn't have MTV happening, it was like there was nothing going on. So you wanted to have something to do, and I'd be like, Grandma, it's so boring. What are we going to do? I'm getting tired of listening to you and Aunt Laverne and Aunt Vernice talk about what Edna May did. So they set us up with a catalog and said, here, go make some paper dolls. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so in an act of there's like nothing else to do, I made paper dolls. And I've been making them ever since. And something that came from a place of intense boredom, I found that I loved it. And I made them even after I came home from my grandma's house. And I made a bunch of characters, and I made them for years. And I'm 50, and I'm still making them. So it had an impact. And it was something, that I did quietly with my cousins. And we just sat at the table cutting out figures and making outfits for them and making them pose. And the thing that I wanted when I was a kid is I wanted them to be posable, but they weren't. And I didn't have the knowledge back then to make them posable. So I've started making these, and I sell them at art festivals. And they're completed. They have the brads in them and everything. They're not cut out. It's a DIY type thing. And I've had so many people come up to me in the last few years saying, I've been making these with my daughter, and it's so fun. And we put them in frames. And that's what the majority of people do with them, is they decorate rooms and tuck them into flower arrangements. And this is a print of one. This is the little witch. It comes with a little cat.
Oh, we don't have the witch yet.
We don't have the witch yet. But this is one that was flat, just sitting on my desk. But they look so good, and you can get these like shadow boxes, right? So the shadow boxes are pretty fun, and you can put them on.
You can pose them and pin them in place.
You can pose them and pin them. You can put them on the refrigerator. They make a cute gift. And the best part is you can download them as many times as you want, or you can print them as many times as you want. So what I do is I'm not going to mess around. I've got a really not that good printer. My printer is just to print order, just to print like invoices and things. So I don't have a color printer. So I take them down, over to the local print shop down the street, and I'll say, hey, can I get, 10 of this or 8 of that or whatever, and they print them, and they're not very expensive at all to have printed. And you can pick papers that you want. It's pretty cheap to have them printed. You can even print them on a type of cardstock that you can paint on, so you could customize them and you could put different colored paints on them. And it's pretty fun. It's a fun activity. I have many a time. I have a stack in my dining room, and I will bring out, I have a little kit of scissors, and all you need are little fine scissors. I just use embroidery scissors to cut everything out, and a thumbtack to poke the holes before I start cutting. And I'll put them together with my friends, and we'll just sit there having tea and talking. And it's a really pleasant way to spend the day. And for $15, that's a pretty good deal, because you can print as many as you want until you don't want to print them anymore. And you can send them to your friends. And it makes a quick gift. If you need a quick gift for somebody and you didn't want to run to the store and buy something, or if you wanted to add to like a gift bag, say you had some flowers, you could tuck one in. Like this one, I have a customer that when people are in the hospital, she would put them in like a thing of flowers and tuck it in and make it really cute. This one kind of looks washed out on the screen, but she's a real subtle, there without the glare, you can see that how she has a very subtle coloration. This one is one that folks like to add glimmering colors to her wings. She comes in a 2 set.
Oh yeah, here, I've got a link to that too. Or not a link, but a QR code. Where are they? Sorry. Yeah, look at those two, the little twins.
She has kind of a hop for a skirt, the hops. So I paint these in watercolor and gouache. And you know what? I carry some of these in my sketchbook. If I showed you my sketchbook pocket, I have one. There's one free one if you want to test it out that you can download. If you want to test my work, you can go download that one.
Yeah, that's on our digital downloads too. It's a freebie.
Free. It's a freebie. So these I made for our international customers. And the best part is that I have a way. Now, the reason I've held off doing instant downloads on these, and for years, I've had requests for this for so many years. And so finally, I figured out how to make this so that if you don't have brads for whatever reason, you don't have a Michaels or a Hobby Lobby or now no one has Joann's, but brads come in every shape and size that you can think of. And they come in stars. You can get them with gemstone or like plastic gemstones. But if you don't have these brads, say you're in where would they not have this? Where's that place that we were watching on that YouTube channel as back as Jan? Where's that place?
I don't know.
So maybe you don't have a craft store.
The craft stores don't usually have that size anyway. They don't usually have
Michael's
tiny ones.
Michael's has. So if you have a Michael's, go get them over there. But here's how I figured it out. I found out 3 ways actually. So that if you're going to put on your own puppet show, for example, look at this. This is getting wild right here. This is incense sticks. Getting goofy. Getting so goofy. He doesn't make that great of a puppet because he's kind of... So anyway, look at this. I made these brads with seed beads. And then the ones on his lower legs are made with wire that I bent. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So if you're a paper artist, get ready to be very delighted, because this is going to solve all your attachment problems. I mean, I know there's probably at least 4 paper artists, probably, if you make handmade paper. All right, let's show how that's done. This is from my step out, so I was showing how to do this. So here's for the first version, the harder version. Let's call it the harder version. So you take about how much wire is this? Let's see. Oh
yeah, if you decide that you want to get any of these paper dolls, it does come with instructions for everything.
Yeah, of this I went through and thoroughly, there's 15 pages of directions of making. Mostly it's how to make different things like this. It's easy to cut. This is not the hard part to cut out. Cutting out is not a hard part. The hard part, well, there is no hard part except if you don't have brads. So if you don't have brads, then you will make these. So This is a little piece of copper wire. It is, I believe, 26 gauge, maybe 24 gauge. I think it's actually 24. And you want to cut it about 1 inch. You can trim it. And so then you just bend it into a U shape, right? Bend it into a U shape, pinch it down. And so you have this shape. It's kind of like a hairpin type shape, right?
Oh,
So,
Kimberly, there's a link. I'm going to drop it in the comments right now for our digital downloads page on our website where you can get directly to any of these listings that I've showed. But if you have your phone, if you have a phone with a camera, you can open the camera and scan the QR code box, the little scraggly box in the bottom right corner of the link that's showing up. So that's just, you just scan a QR code with your phone camera and it'll take you to the page of that listing.
all right, so once you have your U shape, I squeezed it tight right there. Carolyn says we could use Fireline with beads and not glue and thread to secure. Carolyn, you read my mind. I was fixing my mouth to say that. You could use Fireline. You could use, I used nylon. I love this nylon. I got like 1,000 of these things rolling around. So then what you do, right, is you take the your flatteners, right? You grab the little loop and you bend the loop so it goes this way, right? You bend it into a flat, like I guess 90-degree angle. And then you know what I like to do? See how it's like this? I like to take the wide part of my pliers and I like to flatten them down and make a flat. And then I'll do this number where I'll go like this.
Oh, Jermaine, you do print these on cardstock. That'll give you the best results. If you have, if your printer does color, then your prints will probably look pretty good. But if you took it to a print shop, it would look its best.
Yes. Anne says you used to mail them out. Yes, for years we've mailed these out all over the world. And I have had so many people that we have all over the world, but some places that I can't ship to. No, they're not black and white. They're all color. They're like exactly how you see them. They look like.
I mean, I'm sure you could paint a little extra on them if you wanted to customize them, but they're not going to be black and white. They're going to be in full vibrant color.
Full color. Like this is the crow right here. I haven't gotten a chance to clip this one out. I was going to do this for a gift for my friend. And you know what? Sometimes I do. I make these paper dolls and then I leave them in her house. I know it's kind of wacky, but it's just a little something I do.
You could pose them and make little stop motion animations with them walking around.
Yes, you could.
And being whimsical.
Fine. What do I have here that isn't put together? Do you see one that needs? Because I didn't
show the unicorn. That's a good one.
No, did I not show this unicorn?
I'm not sure if you did. I wasn't paying attention.
Here's my unicorn.
I was reading comments and stuff. There's a unicorn and the link for the unicorn. I love that unicorn. Rainbow.
Yeah, so I paint these all in watercolor and gouache. And they make good, like, rainy day. If you have kids, you know what? I say kids, but let's be real. I am not a child. And I have spread these out in a pile on the table and said, you guys want to cut some of these out? We can just, while we're talking, every single time people are like, yeah, why not? And they'll cut them out. And they're like, these are so fun. And it is fun. It's kind of it's like an old school way to spend time with your friends, just doing something simple and creative. It's kind of like coloring. It's the same energy as coloring. But at the end of it, you get something that's sort of like a decoration that, whereas coloring, you're like, okay, time to put that in a folder. This, you'd actually want to frame it. And, you can customize them. They're very easy to customize.
Shuri wants to know, can you print them on heavy watercolor paper?
Yes, but I would take that to the print shop because they can get that Legion paper. My friend Joanne, her partner Rocky has a really amazing print shop, and he was saying he could print it on any paper, like, just about any paper. And I like,
sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
What?
Could you repeat that?
Stop it. Did you say the name?
I said Joanne.
No, the name that summons the creature in the iPad.
I didn't call that.
I haven't opened my mouth in minutes. He just started talking, my Irish Siri. Don't nobody worry about that.
All right, so that's that piece. I was looking for something. You know what? I'll just show it here.
Kimberly wants to know, Azalea, my computer is not letting me combine the pieces from the digital download link from the website. Do those need to be purchased separately? No. No. If you scan the code multiple times, it will probably take you to different tabs in your browser. So maybe if you scan one, you can go back to the digital downloads link that I posted in the chat a couple times. If you click that, it'll take you to the page, and then you can just add stuff to your cart, and it'll all be together all at once. And it'll all go to whenever you buy the paper dolls, the link to download them will go into your email. It'll email you the file. So you can just open the digital downloads link. Here, I'll post it one more time. Here's a link to our digital downloads page on the website. If you click that, it'll show you all the paper dolls, and you can add them to cart as you please.
So this, I think, is my favorite way. And after I started doing this, I was like, this is so easy. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Why did it take me like 3 years to realize this? So who knows why? But I don't know what the answer is to that question. Why didn't I think of this? But I have a little brass bead here. This is probably the easiest way to do it, even easier than this actually. And I just cut about 1 inch of the craft wire and then put this little metal brass bead. This works great. Let me take one apart. Oh, the Pale Mermaid comes with a little mini. Isn't that cute? So cute. Don't make that boy cry.
It's cute.
Oh, this one was completely made with the flattened brads there, the handmade copper ones. And you can see it's a more subtle look. You could paint them if you didn't like that look, or you could use colored wire. This one was used vintage beads. I put that. It's getting chaotic with all these paper dolls on my desk.
I'm losing stuff. This cat is very round and whimsical in his whimsical expression. He's very charming.
I don't see it. Oh, here they are. So I used these to make that. And then if you want to make any of these puppets into paper puppets, or did I just say puppets? They're dolls, but you can make paper puppets. This one has thread joints. So I did thread joints just like Carolyn was talking about. This has Ceylon, and I just knotted it. You need 2 beads for this, though. One on the front and one on the back. Otherwise, they just pull right out because the knot is not enough. So that's that. Let me poke one. I was going to show that.
Everybody wants you to flip it over and show how you do the back of the brad.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do that. I need to find a piece of paper to show it. All right, we're just going to do this scrap paper so I can demonstrate that. All right, so you take that. Actually, you should always poke your holes first. I don't know why I did that, because then otherwise.
Oh, you know what I like to do when I'm poking the holes? That works good too on the cardstock. But if you don't want to bend the cardstock by poking the holes, you can put the paper on something soft and then poke into it.
Okay, give me something soft.
You could use this. This is my miniature tailor hand.
Oh, she's got a little tailor hand.
That might work. It might be too tough.
No, that worked great. So
it prevents thumbtack on something soft like a pillowy, something firm, pillowy action, and it'll prevent your paper from bending.
All right, so that was made with the 1 inch of wire and a metal bead. Poke through.
This cat is getting his face in the camera.
He's trying to see what I'm doing. He's like, what are you doing? And then you can either bend them out like this, just bend it, right? Or if you want to be an overachiever, you could do one of these.
Karen says, I can't check out at the website because it keeps saying I have to read and agree to terms and conditions, but I can't see where to do that on the website. So in checkout, there should be a little box underneath where you put all your information that says, please read. And that box, all you have to do is you have to read the thing and check the box, and it should let you go. If you can't see that box underneath all of your information, try refreshing the page and it should show up. I'm not sure why it wouldn't show up, but that's what I would do. I would just refresh.
Yeah, so if you don't want it just sticking out free like that, you could also clip that short.
And what were you saying earlier? You wanted to curl them in?
If you wanted to make it like extra pretty on the back, so it doesn't catch on anything, say it's in your sketchbook, I haven't really had a problem. But the longer that arm is, if you have like a big tail piece like the crow, that's a good one to leave it a little bit long because there's a lot of pieces that'll fit into its rump. So I was like so high on life when I finally got this done, because you don't know how many times people have emailed me over a few years and said, when are you going to make those instant downloads so we don't have to pay shipping? Because the shipping is the part that people don't like. It's the part I don't like. So that's the part that's hard. So now that you don't even need these brads. That's the best part, is you don't have to go and buy. Let me show the packaging. I don't know what I do with the package of that brad. Yeah, what do I do with it? I get them from Michael's, but here's some. And they look kind of like, they get a lot in a pack. But if you could say you can't find these, it's from the Michael's website. This is just as good, if not better, because then you don't have to hunt for anything. And the best part is that if you have a color that you want to make it blend in a little more, you don't want it to be black or gold or whatever, you could even make them where you have tiny crystals. Or you could use some, I prefer the metal beads just because it's a preference of mine. I like those little faceted metal beads. But you could use any type of seed bead. If you wanted to make it even fancier, you could use those large hole stone beads. So really, it's just wonderful to have that and not be, stuck with the idea that you have to have this one brand of brad or you can't make the project. So I'm going to put together another piece. It's so fun to make paper dolls. I found this picture of when I went on to this show called Make It Artsy. I don't know if anyone remembers that show, but I was a guest on that show. It was probably 10 years ago. And I showed how to make paper dolls. And the paper dolls the product I was demonstrating was the Brother paper cutter. And you could program this machine to cut out around the pieces. So you didn't have to cut it out. You just put it on the bed like a scanner and then traced it with a stylus, and it cut around it with a little tiny ceramic blade. It was awesome. I was so hoping that they would let me have the machine afterward because they had extras. I was like, hey, what are you guys going to do with that machine?
Can I have it?
You guys, what are you doing with that? They gave me, because when I'd been on the show before, like demonstrating resin or something, and they gave me the resin lamp. So I was like, you never know. I might get lucky. Never know what might happen.
You did not get lucky, though, did you?
That day I did not. But you never know what might happen. So if you don't like that thing coming out, it's like the brads will do that. You can always do this. I showed that just there. And this will work.
Needle nose pliers, twisting them in. It looks pretty.
Mm-hmm. Let's do the other side.
Kind of has like antique vibes, like Victorian almost, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have had so many, since I was working on this project all weekend long, I was like, there are so many different kinds of projects you could make with this. So I kind of want to make more. I'm on fire with it. I guess lately I've just been in the mood for kind of slow crafts and just spending time, just like quiet time, spending time with my friends, drinking tea, having conversations with like these YouTube videos of fires. That's been a big hit lately. So you can see a flattened loop if you want something that has a low profile. Maybe it's going to sit in a book. And then the high profile with a seed bead. So that's 2 ways you can do it. There's 2. And I have in the directions, there's a 3rd way. Because say you don't have any wire. If you don't have any wire, then you can use Ceylon. Let me see. Do I have time to show that? I'm already over. So
yeah.
That is not on here. I don't know. Do I have time? What time is it? Do I have time to show?
You've been on for 1 hour and 4 minutes. It is 3:34.
I'm going to show this. I can do one. it don't. There's another.
You can go a little over.
little
We just
bit,
don't.
okay,
we
just a
don't want to
little- we
get
don't wanna-
any.
we
We
don't
don't want
wanna
to get in
crowd-
trouble. You know.
Yeah, I don't want to crowd K. So I guess all these guys sold out. Did you guys see these? I forgot to show these. This is Next Step. We had these in Sterling. I forgot they were
Those
sitting-
might be gone.
Those might
Those
be
been
gone.
on there for a minute.
know, folks, I've had people ask me about bone shapes, about stick shapes, and I found these sticks while I was walking around with my friend Joanne. We picked these at the Biltmore. She was my lookout. Now listen, when I was taking them, they were not. These were like, just small snips. It wasn't on like the live part of the plant. These were, well, maybe that one.
Robin wants to know, what gauge wire did you use? I think
This
it was
one-
26 gauge, right?
Well, this is 26 right here. This is 26 gauge. Is that the same? See, the problem with this is the things come off, so you have to
I think that's 24 gauge, maybe even bigger. It doesn't look the same thickness. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
No, this looks like 24 gauge. This is 26 because I
Okay.
can see it. So
That's
it's
what I
24
thought.
gauge. The thicker the wire, if you use great thick wire, so I actually tried this first. I was like, oh, I'm going to go in there with some nice thick wire. So this is not necessary. This just makes your life hard. So you don't need to use
the paper, and it probably
It's just too. It makes it hard. I just wouldn't recommend it. I would say this holds it. Look how this is. It works good. So let's do one last one. We're going to show. Usually, I had it all ready to go because I was poking holes last night. She wants to squeeze his paws, and he is not interested in that.
He
action.
loafs, and his whole body is barely fitting on the stool. His fat
Give him a little
rolls
taste.
are spilling off the side of the stool, and
All
it
right.
looks handsome.
What I like to use for this last technique, this is also, all these directions are in the PDF file. So if you download this, you're like, man, I'm not gonna remember any of that. I have it all, like photo.
We'll give him the rest
Okay.
of it at the end, right?
Yeah. So this is how to make the other join by using Ceylon. So this, we don't carry this in our store, but I know that you can get it at beadshop.com. They have so many good colors. Probably some of the colors you can't get anymore. I know I saw Kate she showed me one that was like a dusky rose. And I was like, you got some of them old school colors that you can't get anymore. So I'm using Fray Check. This is to make a stiff needle. You want this because sometimes with this kind of limp, the thread, when it's kind of like real limp, it's kind of hard to maneuver it. So I'm going to let that set up a second. And while that's setting up, it might not be stiff enough. So I'm watching this time, and I can't go over because I don't want to make, I don't want to be impinging on the wonderful Kay Goss. We don't want that story. All right, so let me show this one more time. All right, so this is about 1 inch of wire. You just bend it in half after you have a bead. All right. Squeeze it. You could actually, if you feel like it, you could go in with a little pair of pliers and like do one of those so it doesn't wiggle around. These are little brass beads. They're real small. They have a great big hole. I love them. I got a little bit larger size. I know, Kate, I had some that were a hair larger. They might have enough this size. This size is, I don't remember, maybe I got cherry tree or something. So you just do that, bend it. That was like 2 seconds, maybe even less, 1 second. Poke through. And this is really good if you've ever done handmade paper. Like I got to do a tutorial and show y'all how to make handmade paper because it's so fun. I'm going to curl the edges. And you just spread them that way. You could leave it like that. That's fine. Or you could go in extra detail and spin that out with some little needle nose pliers. That's cute, huh? There you go. Oh, good. Carolyn says, my paper doll order shows the spring fling discount. Yes, I'm glad. I'm gonna make more. I have so many ideas. It's gonna be good. So this should be set up by now. And what you want to do with this, let's poke another hole on this side. See, if you poke them not with something under it, you get a little bend. So don't do like me. Do it like this.
Do it like me.
Do it like Azalea says. Make that extra little bit.
Well, you know, I learned that yesterday when I was putting together that moth, and I didn't read the directions, and I cut every piece out in detail first instead of cutting it out blocky and then poking the holes. So I was like, okay, how can I do this without looking like a goober and bending up this tiny, delicate little piece of paper that looks like a hand? So I went and put it on that tailor's hand, and I poked the hole through it, and it worked out and didn't get bent up.
So you go through the back first. You're basically sewing the paper together, and your cord is your needle, and it's a little bit not set up. That hole is a little on the small side.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're getting overcome.
He's just crying just to be crying. Nothing even happened.
Okay, you poke that through. This is the most fiddly way of all to do it. And I would only do this if I were making a puppet, because the join is going to be it's loose. It's not a tight connection. Put your bead on.
Better work fast and furious.
I'm working fast. Why do I always go over?
I don't know. You always have a lot of things you want to talk
Oh
about.
no. I even have my glasses on and like this beige cord. I don't know if you guys can even see it. It's so hard for me to see. I wish I picked a different color. Shoot. Get up close. I gotta see it. So this hasn't completely hardened. You see how it's kind of fighting me a little bit? That's because it doesn't have enough stick on it, or the glue is not completely dry. And then these holes are kind of free form. All right, so there, I got it finally. So you just go through, and you're basically sewing. And then you get to this point, and you need to put another bead on. So if I were doing this and I had a whole bunch of them, I would pull them all at the end so I didn't have to keep making a new needle each time. Or if you have a beading needle, you could just use a beading needle and use fire line. But since this is what I have, this is what I'm going to use. And then you just knot it. And of course, did you see what I did there? So one of you was probably, why did she cut that so flippin' short? It's because I wasn't thinking straight. That's what happened. I wasn't thinking straight. So don't cut it too short. Knot it first before you cut. That's the takeaway from this whole thing, is knot first, then cut. Don't do like Cynthia Thornton and cut, then knot. Or at least give yourself a couple more inches instead of fooling with that. You see how kind of fiddly that was? That was a little bit fiddly. So that's the 2 bead method with cord. And it works good too. See that? You can just cut that short. All right, that was I could call that paper fastening 3 ways. You know, like if we were an Iron Chef. Sharon says, is there a garden fairy? There's a couple different fairies. I don't see that one. I must have put her back in the bag. I forgot completely. You just reminded me. There's this fairy. She's a little moth. I painted this one in gouache and watercolor. It's like she's kind of like, you know, she's flapping around. You know what it's making me think of? There's this song, I can't remember who sings it. It's about this moth that doesn't care about the flame.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, I'm stopping. And it's been going through my head, the moth don't
Cat's
care.
arm dangling down like that.
He's just being casual.
He's just casual about
And
it.
here's the fairy of lost things. Here she is. You can see what she's been up to. She's been in my studio. This is I need these. Check it out. She's got her button lanyard with a fish hook just in case she needs to grapple something, and an old school safety pin and a pouch. Kind of looks a little chitinous, doesn't it? Like it's made out of beetle. And then she's got a whole necklace of some seed beads. See that?
Oh my goodness. That's charming. Oh no. Gotta cut the stream off before she starts doing voices.
I'm not going to do voices.
The
I promise. The
voices.
voices are not coming out, y'all.
Oh no, this is not what we want to do. Oh my goodness. Look at all everybody's comments on the screen. You guys can look at that for a second because I know you guys are all friends. Everybody's like, oh, good idea. Hey. Everybody across platforms. It's kind of charming.
Yeah, I love this group. This is one of my all-time favorite groups that I've ever been in because there's so much love here. There's so much good energy. We're all friends. All the presenters, we've been friends for, I want to say, almost 20 years. I've known Sarah since her very first bead show when she showed up to the best bead show wearing high heels. And I was like, this must be your first show, right? She's like, how'd you guess? I said, your footwear, my friend.
Your footwear.
Yep.
Dang.
So here's those are my fairy floss things.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We have to go soon because Kay is after us.
Kay is after us.
And we don't want to take up any of her time.
We don't want to. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a wonderful time. I hope that you will join us this evening. We have an Ask Me Anything that's supposed to be happening at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So, he's earned his treat. He's been a good cat.
This is what everybody wants to see.
This is what everybody wants to see is Marty enjoying life. So don't forget, tonight at 7, we will be having the Ask Me Anything. Right after us, Kay Goss will be going on. And then after Kay is Christy. Who wants to miss Christy? Who wants to miss Christy? So do not forget, and we will have a good time. We're going to continue on with this kit on Wednesday, the one we just showed you. And what else are we doing? Oh, and if you're local, come see us Friday night. We're going to be at downtown live after 5, downtown Asheville, set up. It'll be our first outdoor show that we had since last year. And then on that Sunday, we have another show, the Uncommon Market at AV Tech in the parking lot. So we'll be set up there selling more paper dolls, but they'll be printed and ready to go. So you have to go take it to the print shop. So that is what we have for you today. I hope you guys had fun with us. We certainly had fun with you all. And thank you for joining us.